Hello, I look absolutely fucking terrible and I don't know what my hair is doing and my roots are the worst. But today I'm gonna talk about my experience of kind of realizing I was queer. Queerience? I don't fucking know. Let's go. So, the youngest kind of awareness of sexuality other than straight that I can remember is in Mamma Mia. There's a scene right at the end where Colin Firth's character grabs one of the kind of servant boys, like servers, who has been reoccurring in the movie, and kind of says a line that is kind of implying that, oh, he's interested in this gentleman. And that is the first time I can remember something queer in any form of my life. So that's the first kind of recognizable moment. But my own kind of looking back on my childhood, there's some really fucking gay things. So there's when I was about 6, there was a girl in my senior infant class, maybe into first class, and her name was Caitlin, and she was like super bossy, and like looking back she was actually kind of a bit of a bitch for a 7-year-old. And I really wanted to be her friend, and at the time I didn't realise that I also had a crush on her, and that my crush for her felt a lot more real or more valid than maybe the crushes I had on guys, because I had crushes on guys, and to this day I still don't know if I'm 100% only attracted to girls and femme people, or if I'm like, I actually am the 5% straight I say I am. So when I had crushes on guys, they felt kind of abstract and floaty, not quite attached to me. It was something that I had but I didn't own, almost. So there's that. But this girl, I really wanted to be friends with her. I thought she was so cool and pretty, and she had so many friends already, and I wanted to be one of her friends. And I didn't notice that was like, it wasn't a platonic feeling, it was like a super fucking gay feeling. But like 7-year-old me doesn't know shit about that. And then Mamma Mia, and at the time I actually was kind of like, I don't think I like that. So like my first conscious recognition of queerness is actually tied to homophobia on my own part, which is just sucky. But then I joined Tumblr when I was 13, and I know a lot of people kind of hate when people learn about sexuality through Tumblr, but that is how I learned about a lot of stuff, a lot about politics, queerness, gender. And Tumblr, what I'll say about it is, it can be a good resource, but don't make it your only resource, and that's all I'm going to really comment on. But when I was about 13, I joined Tumblr, and I was like almost completely a fandom blog, a mixed multi-fandom blog, and I still kind of am. But as time went on, I got more interested in the politics that was happening at the time. So I think that was around the time of I can't remember what her name was, but there was a woman who stood and talked for 12 hours to try and prevent some kind of abortion law being passed in Texas. I can't think of what her name is right now. I'll put it on the screen here. And it was around that time, that similar to that, I kind of realised that when I was talking about women's rights, I wasn't including myself in that. So that's kind of where I discovered that I was personally non-binary. But when I was 14, I became friends with this person who is no longer in my life for complicated reasons. But I became friends with this person, and we followed each other on Tumblr, and I knew that person for a very long time. And they were kind of my conscious queer awakening, I guess, in a modern sense. And that was cool. That was that was in 2015, I think. Yeah, 2015. And we dated for 8 months, and that was, it was nice, but it wasn't a great relationship in retrospect. We eventually broke up, and we remained friends for quite a long time, and now we're not friends, and that's a whole other story that I'm not going to tell. So that was that. And then, oh, actually going back a bit, when I was 13 and I had just joined Tumblr, before I kind of had started to come to realise that I was queer, I had a boyfriend, and that relationship was for about 6 months, and it lasted. It wasn't, I don't want to say it was bad or it wasn't very good, it was like lackluster is what I'll say. And he was a little bit older than me, maybe like worryingly old, but we were healthy enough as a 13-year-old in a relationship with someone older than them. Anyway, so I was in a relationship with a guy when I was 13, and then I dated this person when I was 14. So that person is kind of the first instance of, the first non-binary or kind of not cis person I knew personally, and of course, or that I knew, because a lot of people that I knew at the time are actually non-binary or identify as non-binary now. Now I just see women and I'm just like, you're beautiful and I love you. So women are beautiful. I'm definitely attracted to women. I would say I would probably be attracted to a majority of non-binary people. I made the joke to, I think, Aaron the other day that the 5% of the heterosexuality I claim to have, 3% of it goes to Darren Chris's thighs, because fuck, those thighs are really nice. So that's that. That is kind of a very brief and somewhat messy timeline of my queer experiences, with a bit of gender thrown in there. So I hope that was interesting or gave you an insight to me as a person, because I guess I kind of hold my queer identity as a very important part of myself. And I actually am kind of the queer advice person, or the queer manual person. So a lot of my friends who are queer or are questioning or questions and then figured out they were straight, a lot of them came to me first and was like, this, and I'm like, it's queer, but if you could be a 2 on the Kinsley scale, like, also I'm a 5 on a Kinsley scale. That's an interesting point to make. I don't think Kinsley scale is kind of a proper exhibition of how sexuality works, but it's a decent understanding of how you relate it to a person on a person-to-person level. Anyway, I'm rambling. I am going to leave it here. I will hopefully see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a fantastic veju and an awesome day, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow, and goodbye.